Okay, so again, starting this video over again, go to second 0 on your calculator. It says catalog, scroll down to the section that starts with the letter D. You will see a term that says diagnostic on. Okay, press enter. It'll show up on your screen now. And then enter again, it should say done. And I'll tell you why you needed to do that when we get to it here in a second. Okay. All right, I'm going to hop right into this. We're going to find a value today called the correlation coefficient. Okay, you're going to look at two things. Let me give these two scenarios for you. The amount of times you spend studying in your test grade. One goes up, what happens to the other? The other should go up, right? Okay, we would say that has a positive correlation. One goes up, the other goes up. Okay, that would have a positive correlation. So again, the amount of time you spend studying and your test grade, one goes up, the other should go up. That's a positive correlation. What would be an example of a negative correlation where one goes up, the other goes down? How about this? Smoking and lung capacity. You see what I'm talking about? The more you smoke, typically what about your lung capacity? Less lung capacity you have. All right, so one goes up, the other goes down. That's a negative correlation between two. All right, so we got positive, which both go up or both go down. And we got a negative, which one they do the opposite. One goes up, one goes down. How can we find if they're correlated or not? Your calculator can tell us. So this first example right here, part A, can you go to your list, please, and type those into two lists for me? Type those into two lists. List 1 and list 2, part A. Make sure, just take a quick look, make sure they all are correct, they match up. Okay, so I want to see how correlated these two are. So here's where we're going to go. From here, you go to stat, calculate like we usually do, but today we're going to go to a new screen. All right, we are no longer on 1var stats for mean, quartiles, standard deviation. We are going to go down to choice 4 today, which says linreg, which stands for linear regression. All right, linear regression. And you're going to tell it what list it's in. So list 1, list 2. I only remember you separate it by a comma, just like we've been doing, right? Okay, nothing goes into anything else except for L1 and L2, so make sure you have that in there right now. Calculate. You're going to see a bunch of values. All I care about right now is what's called the correlation coefficient. That is an R value. The R value on here is your correlation coefficient. Remember we did diagnostic on? If that's not on, you won't see an R value here. That's why it's got to be on every time. And you guys don't have to worry about it anymore unless you clear your calculator for whatever reason. All right, so that's why we put the diagnostic on to get this R value. And what's it asking us to round to here? Nearest thousandth, which would be how many numbers after the decimal? 3. So everyone take a look at this number with me. The correlation coefficient would be 0.99. What's the 8? Stay an 8 or go to a 9? 9. So the correlation, the R value for this one, 0.999. Now let me start telling you now what this R value means. The R value ranges from -1 to +1. All right, -1 to +1. The closer it is to 1, the stronger the positive correlation. The closer it is to -1, the stronger it is to a negative correlation. All right, so is this a pretty strong correlation? 0.999. Is that pretty close to 1? I think so. So we'd say this has a strong, here you go, strong positive correlation. Strong positive correlation. Hopefully you haven't taken those numbers out of your calculator yet, because I'm going to show you how your calculator can do a scatter plot. I want to show you a scatter plot for a strong positive correlation. So go back right now. Does everyone see above your y equals screen, you have the words stat plot? Can you please go second y equals for me? Second y equals. Let's go, let's go. Let's stop staring. Let's hit the calculator. Second y equals. Okay, just choose the first one. So we'll do stat plot 1 there. Choose it. Okay, turn it on. It's off right now. Turn it on. And does everyone see the different types of graphs we could do? Remember I told you a couple days ago your calculator could do a box and whisker? That's one of the options, but I don't want that now. I want the scatter plot, which should be highlighted right now. Okay, everybody good? Make sure you turn it on. Your scatter plot is highlighted. We're going to look at list 1 and list 2. Good. Now, you guys, this is your choice. I don't care. The scatter plot can be in little boxes, plus signs, little dots. I don't care. What color? Some of you guys can choose a color. I could care less. All right, just the fact that you turned it on and it's on the scatter plot right now. So everybody's good? Plot 1, all good? All right, to see the scatter plot now, go to zoom. You hit your zoom button. Right at the top, you got a zoom button. And we are in the stats unit, so you want number 9, zoom stat. And you should see your scatter plot for this graph. Okay? I must have had something else. Yeah, I had something else in there. Get that out of there. Zoom stat. And what do you notice about the slope? What do you notice about the slope of the scatter plot? It's positive slope. What was your correlation coefficient, positive or negative? Positive. And do you see how they're like lining up, literally line by line here? So I can almost draw a straight line through there. So this, take a look. This graph has a strong positive correlation. All right, strong positive correlation based on this graph. We good? All right, let's go a little quicker now through the rest. Go ahead. We could. Yes, Callie. Stat. Zoom stat. Anytime you want to look at a scatter plot, look at zoom stat. Good? Okay, go back to your list. Guys, you do not need to type in list 1. Do you see how the x coordinates are all the same? Do not retype list 1. It's all the same x coordinates. You just got to retype your list 2s now. So go ahead, go through your list 2 now. Clear it out, put the new list in for y's. I'll ask one of you in a second what your R value is. Yes. There's no more R value? Did something happen between the last R value and now? Did you put diagnostic on at the beginning of class? Okay, so try to go to catalog again and try turning it on again. Are you going to number 4? And still no R value? Okay, try diagnostic on again. Yep. Okay, yep. X list should be L1. So not too sure how you get to your list 1. Because it should be L1, L2. Yeah, L1, L2, and then everything else should be fine. And you should, so I don't know how to get L1 in there. Yeah, we got to figure out how to put list 1 in there. I'll look it up at the end of class. Okay. We're going to figure it out. Yep. R value for this one. What do we end up with? R value for this one. Okay, this is a new one. Okay, give me 26. R value for this one. Yep. Anything with 0.9, I consider it strong still. All right, anything with 0.9, I still consider this a strong positive. All right, a strong positive. Anything with a 0.9. Quickly, go ahead, zoom stat plot. Everyone remember our 0.999 scatter plot? Take a look at what the 0.930 one looks like now. A little different. So everyone go back to zoom stat. I have different ones in there, so it's not going to match. But take a look at yours right now. Go ahead, go back to zoom stat. You see it a little bit different. Okay, it's not as a straight line as the last one, but it is. Can you tell it's going positive? Can you still tell it's going to be a positive correlation? Okay. All right, go ahead, go to the next one. Go to part C now. Let's see what the R value is going to be for this one. $14, when you're ready, let me know. 14 here? No? Okay. 13? 7? 0.776. We okay here? 0.776. Remember, you got to go to choice 4. Now, that's definitely not strong. All right, it's not that close. So we say instead, what's in the middle? We say moderate positive. All right, moderate positive correlation. Moderate. Take a look at your scatter plot again. Does it still look a little bit, it looks a little bit crazier than the last two, right? But you can still tell what? It's a positive slope. All right, do you see how scattered the points are now? They're not in a straight line, not even really resembling, but you can at least tell it's positive, spread out. Okay, last one, part D. Last one, go ahead, if you haven't done so already. We'll see a little bit something different here. When you're ready, 5, go ahead when you're ready. Nice job. That's almost close to 0, halfway, but it's still positive. Not okay. You got to let me know at the end of class because I'm sure you're not going to be the only one I'm going to come across. It's not strong, not moderate. What do you think I'm going to call this one? Weak positive correlation, yep. And go ahead, take a look at the scatter plot on that one. Woo. Hot mess, probably. But you can at least still know it's going uphill. All right, positive slope. All right. Everyone all good? All right, here we go. We can go a lot faster now. Next one. Match the graph to the correlation coefficient. Well, first of all, which one am I automatically getting rid of up here? 4. It's not negative. Obviously, it's going in a positive direction. 4 is done. 1 is as high as you can go, remember. And 1 would be perfect. 1 would be perfect. Just going up like that. So it can't be 1. Now, out of the 2 here, what do you think? 0.88 or 0.28? 0.88. It's a lot more packed in than 0.28 would be, which would be all spread out. Okay, so 0.88. Read through the next one here, number 3. This is just your knowledge of R values. Which model would you choose to predict the price of unleaded gasoline? What's got a better correlation to it? The Brent one or the WTI one? Which one's got the better correlation? Remember, the better correlation is the closer it is to 1 or -1, right? 1 and -1. Which one's closest to what? Brent. So I'm going to pick Brent crude because R value is closest to 1. The closer it is to 1 or -1, the stronger correlation it is. All right, here we go. Some people are going to get involved now. Match the graph with the R value with the term it goes with now. Okay? Match the graph with the R value and the term it goes with. So I'm going to start right with R equals 1. R equals 1. Match the graph that goes with it. Which graph goes with R equals 1? Here we go, 10. Which graph up here would go with R equals 1? C, perfect, perfect. Okay, you can't get any higher than 1. All right, so it's going to be graph C. And so we don't make too much of a mess out of it, it would be your perfect positive correlation. R equals 0.35, still positive, but a little weak there. 0.35, which graph up here would match 0.35? Here we go, 30, 0.35. Would be F, yep. Graph F, absolutely. It's definitely going uphill, but it's all spread out. And how would we do this? This would be a weak positive, yep, weak positive. All right, first time we're dealing with a negative now. Negative 0.82. Negative 0.82. So definitely should be going downhill. And 0.82 is pretty close to 1, so it should be kind of packed in. Which one are you looking at here? Here you go, 22. Which one are you looking at? Choice E, yeah, I like it. Going downhill, pretty packed in. Graph E. And where do you think we're going to put this one here? Compared to the choices that are left anyway. How can we determine this one? Here you go, 18. What would I call this one? Negative 0.82. Okay, but remember, just take a look what we got coming up. We also have negative 0.56 coming up. So strong negative for this one. If there was something like negative 0.9, I would probably call that moderate negative, yes. 0. Halfway in between -1 and 1. 0. No correlation at all. I just gave that away, but 21, R value is 0. Which graph am I looking at? Definitely D. I can't tell if it's going up or down. And I just gave it away. No correlation whatsoever. And then let's just finish this here, negative 0.56. What graph are you looking at, 5? A, yep. And with the choices that are left here, moderate negative. And then process of elimination, right? Graph, what are we on? Graph B for 0.93. Strong positive. Do we get this concept of R value now before I move on? We all good? All right, I'm skipping around because some of these you're going to have for homework, which is right at the calculator. I'm going to go to number 4, please. Go to number 4. It should be a scatter plot we're going to graph. Okay, so on this graph, scatter plot. What's the lowest x score? Lowest x score for test x? 58, right? What's the lowest one for test y? 66, right? Why am I asking you guys this? Are any of them close to 0, those low scores? No, so what am I going to need on the x-axis and also now on the y-axis? A break, yes. All right, so let's just start there with the break. Since none of those scores are even close to 0, I'm going to need a break on both the x and the y-axis. Okay, you guys said the lowest one on x was what, 58? And what's the highest one? 95. So your x-axis has to go somewhere from 58 to 95. And your y-axis, what's the lowest one here? 66 to a high of? All right. You guys got to figure out now what you want to go by. You got to go by the same amount. You go by 2s, you can go by 3s, 4s, I don't care. But it's got to have 58 and 95 in there somewhere. Y-axis has to have 66 and 89 in there somewhere. Don't scrunch them in 2, try to spread them out. So you guys decide. There's no wrong way to do this. You decide what you want to go by. But just make sure those values are contained on what you go by. So you want to go by 2s, by 3s. Where do I start? Your call. Making your own scatter plot. Yes, you do. Yep. Okay, and then the points now. So 75 for X, 81 for Y. So you guys go 75 on your X, up to 81 on your Y. Graph it in. Okay. X and then go up to the Y. So go ahead, graph those points right now. Our graphs might look slightly different depending on what kind of scale you went by. Just finish up your points there. Okay, any issues there? Because I gotta get moving here. I know some of you guys are still plotting, but we gotta get moving. All right, part A. Construct the scatter plot, write the equation of the line of best fit. Line of best fit, have you talked about that at all this year at all, or no? Basically, the best line you can draw in that represents all these points, and don't do it on yours, I'll just do it on mine. I don't know, something like that, that kind of best represents all the points. What's the equation of that line? Your calculator is going to do it. All right, your calculator is going to do it. Guess where these numbers are going to go right now so I can get this equation into your list. So go ahead, go to list 1, list 2. Make sure you have 10 in each list, 10 values in each list. Take a quick peek, make sure they all have double digits there. Okay, where do you get this equation for the line of best fit? Same place we got the R value today. Same place we got the R value. So we're going to go back to stat, calculate. Linear regression, that's a line regression, right? I want the equation of the line. All right, L1, L2, everything looks good. All right, let me now describe what everything else means except for what the R value means, all right? Did you notice it says round slope and intercept to nearest hundredth? Y equals mx plus b, right? Here's your A value. Here's your B value you're about to plug into the equation. All right, A value, B value. So we're going to write the equation now. Y equals. Somebody round the A value right now in your calculator to the nearest hundredth. The A value right now to the nearest hundredth. 0.62. Yep. So 0.62x plus B value rounded to the nearest hundredth. 29.18. Calculator did all the work for you. Last one, predict the score for a student who scored 87 on test X. What would be their score on test Y? This, not going to help me. Table, not going to help me. What's going to help me that you just created? The equation. So I'm going to take my equation, 0.62x plus 29.18. Where do I want to plug this 87 in for? Test X, which is your X coordinate. So I'm going to say, what would be my score on Y? 0.62 times the score of 87 on X, plus 29.18. And I'm going to round that to the nearest integer. So you score an 87 on test X, you can expect what on test Y? $12, what can you expect? Is that nearest integer? Whole number? What's it on your calculator right now? Okay, 0.1 tells me 83 stays 83. Okay, so that's to the nearest integer. Anything there? Because we got one more to do. No Regents questions today. One more to do. Let's go. Number 5, the fireworks question. Right off the bat, part A. Find the equation of a linear regression model. Where are your numbers going to go now? List. Let's go. Put them in a list. Could be worse. We could do them all by hand and finding the equation of the line, except our calculator's doing it all for us. You're rounding it to 4 decimal places. 4 numbers after the decimal. Y equals 4 numbers after the decimal now. When you're ready. Here you go, 5. When you're ready. Y equals. Yep. Nice job, Emma. Very nice. Hopefully that's what. If you didn't get that, then look back at your list. If you didn't get that, one number's wrong, I bet. All right, if we didn't get that. What's the correlation coefficient to the nearest hundredth? Same screen. Correlation coefficient to the nearest hundredth. What are we looking at? 13. What are we looking at? Hey, 20. What are we looking at? 9. Just nearest hundredth on this one. So 0.94. What type of strength do you tell me this is? Strong, moderate, weak, positive? Strong, positive. Yep. Okay, use your equation. How many millions of pounds of fireworks are going to be used in the year 2008? Be careful. Everyone stop. Stop. You're not plugging in 2008. Go back up to the table. What does 0, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 all represent? Years since 1990. You're not going to plug in 2008. What am I going to plug in for X in this case? 18, because it's 18 years since 1990. So I'm going to take Y equals 8.1875 and plug in 18, not 2008. And what is it, nearest 10th? So how many pounds of fireworks in 2008? 26? We have a 26? Oh, all right, whenever you're ready. So nearest 10th, though, nearest 10th? 2. Guys, that's all you're doing is plugging in numbers into your calculator this weekend. I think it can get done. All right, take a look at the assignment sheet because we skipped over a couple homework questions. So take a look at the assignment sheet. What's got to get finished?